Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Janet, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. And if you're one of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the likes and the comments. It's really helping my channel grow. I appreciate it so much, and welcome back. So I originally have lost over 100 pounds following the ketogenic diet, and since last year, actually probably around Christmas time of 2020, I had regained about 20 pounds between December and like April, May. Then I started the protein sparing modified fast, and I did end up losing those 20 pounds of regain. So I am now trying to get into maintenance. I have kind of morphed into going keto for the rest of the year, and kind of will reevaluate things at the beginning of 2022. So right now I am doing keto, but I am still continuing to make the protein sparing modified fast and all of the recipes as well too. I know a lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people are staying on track with the protein sparing modified fasting to get to your goal before the end of the year. So I still will be continuing to make the recipes. I have said before also that I am going to be making the protein sparing modified fast recipes in my maintenance. So I still will be using that, and I will still be making them even in my maintenance journey, because it just makes me feel so good. It actually doesn't cause water gain for me. It doesn't bother my stomach, and for so many reasons that I had mentioned. So I still will be continuing to make the bread. So I just wanted to give you a little insight on where I'm at. I know I get a lot of new followers, so I just wanted to let you know kind of where I'm at and where my videos are geared towards. I try to make a variety of videos. I have done like even slow cooker recipes, which I do want to do another one as well before the end of the year. And meal ideas, I want to do some meal prep ideas as well too, and just doing a variety. But I definitely will still be doing the protein sparing modified fast recipes. Today is going to be an experiment. So I know there's a lot of recipes going around for Maria Emmerich's protein sparing modified fast bread, especially the one with water. People are using the one on the back of the protein, the egg white protein powder. There's so many recipes going on right now, and to be honest, I just don't have the time or the patience to be trying so many recipes. The recipe that I have and I use all the time is my tried and true. So my philosophy is, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. But I also wanted to see, now that I'm kind of getting to my maintenance phase, I want to see if adding 2 egg yolks to my mixture is going to make a difference as far as taste. So I'm not too worried about the added macros by adding 2 egg yolks. But for those who are still implementing the protein sparing modified fast, please feel free to use the recipe that I have adapted from Maria's, which is down below in the comments all the time. It is my tried and true. I have tried the Maria Emmerich with only using water, and I will link that video here. Now, the only thing with that recipe is it does take a lot of egg white protein powder, and here in Canada, it is expensive. It is like gold. I first bought a 1 pound package, and it actually cost me over $40. Since then, I have bought the big 5 pound bucket one, which I use now, and it definitely was well worth it. But I think even this, I want to say, was like $75, which I got off of the website iherb.com. That's going to last me a long time. I only use 1/3 of a cup in my recipe that I have adapted, because I feel if you add too much more, it does go dry. This is my opinion. This is just how I make my bread. You might have a favorite bread recipe that you use on a consistent basis, but that's just one thing that I found. The more egg white protein powder that I use, it becomes more dry. So the recipe that Maria shared, and that is on the back of the egg white protein powder, is 1.5 cups of the egg white protein powder plus 1.5 cups of water. I have made that recipe. If you're interested in that, I will link it here. I made that with actually Danishes and pizza, so I was glad that I made it with something else, like as far as the pizza toppings and the Danish mixture, because I found it was dry. It still was good, but it was dry, and that's why I made the decision just to stick with my recipe that I have been using on a consistent basis. But like I said, I'm going to implement this bread throughout my maintenance, and it doesn't bother my stomach, it doesn't cause water gain, it doesn't bother my IBS, so I'm going to be sticking with it. But I just kind of want to maybe see if adding 2 egg yolks will tweak it anymore, especially for like plain white bread that I plan on using for toast and sandwiches, if this is going to make it better tasting. I'm not going to try like a whole bunch of recipes and experiments, or buying, like I know Indigo Nelly has a recipe for the egg yolk protein powder, I believe. She's experimenting with that. So if you are interested in that, I definitely recommend her channel. I love her channel, it is fabulous, but I just don't want to experiment that much. So there's lots of channels out there that is doing experiments, whether it's good or bad, turning out or not. But for me, I'm just going to experiment with this one recipe and see how it turns out, okay? So we are going to be adding 2 eggs. I'm actually going to add the whole entire eggs to my recipe. I'm still going to keep all the other ingredients the same. So if you want to resort to my recipe, like I said, it's in the description, but I'm keeping every other measurement the same. So let's get started. I'm making 1 loaf of bread with this. It's just going to be plain loaf of bread so that I can really get the texture and the taste and see if I like it or not. So let's get started on our bread. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to still stick with everything the same. I'm going to use a cup of my egg whites. And then I am going to put in my cream of tartar. I use 2 teaspoons in my recipe. That's the recipe that I use, and that turns out good all the time. I know there's a lot of recipes out there that have different amounts, so hopefully, I'm sure by this time you probably have found a recipe that you like to use. I also have my oven preset to 325. All right, now I'm just wondering if I should add in my 2 eggs at a later time or if I should add them in now, because if I add the yolks, I don't know how much they're gonna stiffen up, right? But you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna add the whole egg right now. All right, there we go. I'm gonna put it on high. Usually this takes about 7 to 8 minutes on my mixer, but everybody's different, so let's put this on high and mix it all up and beat it.
I leave the TV on, I'm done with your sad eyes. I can take another night with you on like this, so let's go. I'm sure you can take it. You've been crying over him for a lifetime, so if you don't mind, we will dance till it's way past late. Another course that we can fly with the baseline. I know, I know, I know, I know. Boy,
right, this didn't whip up very much. I have a feeling that I probably should have done the egg yolks after I got stiff peaks, but you know what? I might do an experiment on both. I'm just going to actually whip this a little bit with the, because it doesn't make a difference. I'm going to whip it a little bit more since I put in my dry ingredients. So I'm just going to whip it for like 5 more minutes. I think that's as good as we're going to get. This might be a problem. I'm going to try this one first. This might be a 2-part experiment because I might try adding the egg yolks after the fact, but let's see how this bakes up. I'm going to put the whole loaf in my silicone pan here. I've gotten these, I've mentioned them before, off of Amazon. They are in my Amazon favorites down below if you want to check it out. It comes part of a set. So this is really thin, like, you know what I mean? The mixture, watch, you know what? It might still turn out. It might give us some height later on when it's cooking, but I'm going to be anxious to see how this tastes because I never have tried the bread with egg yolks at all, ever once. So I'm kind of anxious to give it a try, to be honest. Definitely a lot more runny and not as stiff peaks, but I think that's because obviously I didn't beat the egg whites alone. So we'll see how it turns out. I might do another one and then add the egg yolks after I've gotten like stiff peaks in my mixture, but we are going to put this in the oven for 20 minutes and then I'm going to leave it in the oven for 10 minutes with the oven off.
One look and I breathe.
Okay, this is my bread right out of the oven. Actually, it puffed up quite a bit. We'll see how it is once it cools. I'm gonna let this completely cool and then we will cut into it. We will see the texture and I will also give it a taste. All right, so this has cooled off about 10 minutes or so. I'm just gonna actually take it out of my silicone pan and just put it on my cooling rack. But it deflated, as you guys can see, it deflated a little bit. Probably went back to, I would say, its original size when I had put it in my silicone loaf pan. Wow, it's pretty good. All right, I'm just gonna let it actually cool on its side here. And you know what? I think I'm gonna make it the other way as well. I wasn't planning on it, but I think I put in the yolks at the wrong time. So I'm gonna set this aside. I have washed my mixer, but let's get started and try it. I know I said I wasn't gonna try a whole bunch of variations, but this was my mistake. I put in the yolks at the wrong time. I second guessed myself, so let's try it the way that I probably should have tried it in the first place. All right, so I have reset my oven for 325 and we are gonna try this the different way. I'm actually going to just mix up my egg whites and my cream of tartar first, and I'm going to mix that for about 7 to 8 minutes to get stiff peaks. Then after that, I am going to mix in my yolks, and I'm kind of just gonna give it a stir. I maybe even just fold it into the mixture, and then I'll put all of my dry ingredients in as well too. We will see if that makes a difference with the end result. So let's get started. All right, so I have used half of this for my first loaf, and one of these is actually 2 cups. So I'm just gonna add the rest of my egg whites in there. Then I am going to add my cream of tartar. Everything is going to be the same, but I'm just going to add my yolks. I think I'm going to add, actually, I'm gonna add the 2 egg whites, and then I'll keep the yolks in a little container, and then I'll add the yolks, like I said, once I get stiff peaks. I just don't want to waste the egg whites in the eggs. Just when I didn't want to get this whole recipe complicated, I think I just made it complicated. So I'm adding a cup, like I said, my normal recipe, and then I'm gonna add 2 egg whites, and I'm gonna put the yolks right in the bowl, and we are gonna add that later on.
Giving up your dreams to your silly demons. We're diamonds in the dust, so why can't you see it? Keep getting under your thick skin, trying on and on, building an
my egg yolks, and then I'm going to put in my dry ingredients. I just have it literally on 2 on my KitchenAid mixture just to get everything incorporated. And I'm going to add in all of my dry ingredients as well. All right, and we're just going to give that a little bit of a stir. I think that's going to be good. I'm going to do the rest with my spatula, and I'm going to fold it all in. All right, I'm going to reuse the same silicone pan that I used for my first one. It is all cooled off, so it's not warm, but it is a little bit dirty, as you can see. But I'm just going to fold this all together gently. And then we are going to put it all in our loaf pan, and we are going to do the exact same thing. And we're going to bake it for 20 minutes and then let it sit in the oven with the oven turned off for 10. This is a lot more volume. I have high hopes for this one. I think I say that in all my videos. But you know what? For the most part, everything turns out pretty good. So I can't complain. This turned out to be an epic loaf. Hopefully it doesn't deflate that much. I just took it out of the oven. I'm going to let it cool for about 15-20 minutes, and then I will take it out of the loaf pan. All right, so here are the 2 loaves, and as you can tell, definitely the one that I used, the second one that I made, is definitely a lot higher than the first. This one definitely is probably the same size as when I put it in. It sunk quite a bit, but this other one has kept its shape. So that is the one that I used the egg yolks and just like folded it in. Really, really anxious to try them. This has been cooling now for probably over 20 minutes. And obviously this one has been cooled off for quite some time. So let's slice into both of them, see the texture and the taste. All right, so this one actually, this one feels a lot more firmer, the first one that I did, but texture looks pretty good. I'm just gonna give it one slice. There we go, it slices really, really well. I will bring the camera up closer so you can have a closer look at the difference of texture. Then I'm going to slice this one. This one feels a lot more crumbly. So texture-wise, I don't know, texture-wise they kind of look the same actually. I'm gonna cut this another slice. All right, let me show you with the camera here the difference. All right, so this first one here is actually the one, like both of these have the same ingredients. It's just that I put in the egg yolk at a different time. So this one actually feels a little bit like stiffer. I don't know, the texture looks all right. Looks to be pretty bread-like, and it is soft. And then this one is the one, oh, this one feels like it's more bread-like. This one feels a little bit more denser, the first one, than this. This one feels like light and a little bit fluffier, like I said, more like bread. All right, and there is the 2 loaves kind of side by each, and you can see there is quite a difference in height as well too. All right, let's give it a taste. So I'm just going to take a little corner off of each. This one here is going to be the one that I made first, and then this one here is the one that I made second. Like I said, they both have the same ingredients. It's just that I did the procedure a little bit differently. Whether or not it affects the taste, we will find out. All right, let's taste the first one first. Not bad, but it feels a little dense. And honestly, it feels a little bit wetter. Like it kind of feels wet. This one doesn't feel wet. It feels like moist, like bread. Let's give the second one a taste. And this one is moister and it tastes more bread-like. I feel like, you know, sometimes the next day it kind of changes a little bit of texture. So I'll be anxious to try this tomorrow as well. But this tastes really good. I think it's going to be excellent for toast and for sandwiches. I may change to this recipe just because I am not worried about the macros. Like, of course I'm worried about the macros going into my maintenance, but I'm not worried about it being so low in carbs and all of my macros. Like adding the 2 egg yolks, I feel isn't gonna be like a huge difference. But yeah, this one bread, the second loaf that I make, is definitely a lot better. I feel it's better than the bread recipe that I make for like regular bread. I will keep you guys posted in my next video and let you know if I will be continuing this recipe for my bread. I'm sure I'll probably keep with my original recipe for other things that I am making protein sparing modified fast, but I definitely wanted to give this a try. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Give this video a like to let me know that you're liking my content. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so YouTube can notify you when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.